Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday evening. Welcome into the latest edition of Sports Blitz Live. I am Andy Graham alongside Luke Robinson. We'll be with you for the next couple of hours, taking your comments, taking your phone calls, talking about everything going on in the world of sports. Hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day and extended weekend. It was the weather was very nice. At least it was here until later on that night. Been kind of rainy.
This afternoon.
This afternoon. Well, I ain't worried about this afternoon. Everybody back at work this afternoon.
Yeah, it's still a lot of rain. Memorial Day always throws me off, though. Like, all day long I've been thinking it was Monday.
It'll do that. But it is a short week. That's a nice way to think about it.
Yeah, that's.
So, it's a fun holiday, kind of kicks off the summer, but it's a serious holiday. Remembering, my goodness, remember the people that gave their lives. That's a big deal. So certainly, thank you to all those out there that paved the way for us. All right, a lot to talk about in the world of sports. We got college baseball going into the brackets. We got Auburn and Alabama in action on Friday. We got the College World Series, the Women's College World Series out in Oklahoma City. That's going to begin, I think, on Thursday. We can talk about that a little bit. The college football playoff has redone the seeding. Luke says this is a no-brainer. Why didn't you do this to begin with? Now, how would this have affected last year?
A lot.
Okay, maybe the matchups would have been different, but were the games have been any different in the first round? Maybe.
I think the games in the first round would have been a little better. That's probably the irony, is the games in the first round be better and games in the second round may not be as good.
Now, oddly enough, and maybe the number one, Oregon, is the one going, yeah, this would have helped us out quite a bit, and it would have changed their path.
Oregon got hosed
significantly.
Last year. They did. They just got hosed, and thank God common sense prevails. The only thing is you can't go back and change this. It is what it is. And if we could go back and change it again, say what you want to, I think they would say, okay, we don't need SMU and Indiana in this thing. Dan Wolken had a dumb tweet saying, hey, this is your friendly reminder, Indiana played Georgia as closely as Notre Dame did, conveniently leaving out that Indiana scored a touchdown with like 3 minutes left when Notre Dame had the backups in, and they were up 27-3, and then they got the onside kick and scored again, which was just, it made the score look respectable. It wasn't respectable. It was one team playing football and another team playing some other sport that rhymes with football. I don't know what that sport, something else. And so Indiana didn't need to be there. SMU certainly didn't need to be there. And, again, with the comments that Greg Sankey's making, that has made, Kirby Smart made these last couple of days, where they basically said, yeah, we're sort of driving this train and y'all want to keep the SEC teams out in lieu of teams that are just not nearly as good, and then hold the record against SEC teams when clearly – we have the most NFL players. We have the best teams. We have the best coaches. We have, probably the best NIL packages this side of Ohio State. So, it's a joke. It is. And thank goodness. Thank goodness.
But until they figure out, until they have this breakaway, until you want to, but that's fine. But until that happens, I don't think it's fair to say SMU didn't deserve to be there.
It's 100% fair.
No, it's not.
Tell me why.
Because
what in the issue of fairness, Andy, give me who did they play? Nobody.
They play who was on their schedule.
If that's the case, then nobody should ever schedule. Auburn should never schedule Baylor. Alabama should never schedule Florida State and Wisconsin. That's dumb if you're going to do that. And if that's all it takes, then the
was
SEC will
more
do what
about-
everybody's been complaining about, which is schedule cupcakes.
It was more about the teams in their conference that were the ACC was just not nearly as good as the SEC, and
100%, I agree.
I don't disagree with that, but you cannot penalize these. I don't think.
Oh, I can.
I don't think you should penalize these teams for going, like, say, winning.
No, you penalize the teams that are good. You're fine rewarding teams that aren't good. You want to penalize the good teams.
No, you're the one that always is talking about teams that getting in with a poor record.
Let me say this. If it were my scenario, we wouldn't have 12 teams. We're already going to 16, surely to God, and that's so dumb I don't know what to do. But, okay, so we're doing it.
Why is that so much dumber than 12?
Well, because, I mean, we'll go to 6, then we'll have to have 24.
No, we won't.
Andy, when I said we went to 4, and I said we're going to screw around and go to 8, we just zoomed past 8 and went to 12. Then I said we'd go to 16. No, we won't. What are we doing?
Now, 12 was moronic. We should have gone right to 16, probably.
I actually think 12 is
that.
better than 16 simply because I do think the best teams do deserve a bye, but we're not going to do that anymore either. So, again, and then we had such a rush to go get these 12 teams, we didn't even think about, oh, you know what? What if a bad Clemson team messes around and beats this SMU team that everybody was in love with? And they did. And so now we got to put in Clemson, who, again, clearly didn't deserve it. And then we got to also put in SMU? It just doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. If you see, SMU, in my opinion, was in a playoff. And they lost. And so instead of losing once, we made them lose twice to prove they weren't any good. The 2 best teams they played, they lost to. And one of them wasn't that good in Clemson. So I'm saying, why do we have to – why do the teams that have built the foundation of college football have to keep bowing down to teams that aren't that good? I don't understand it. I don't understand why people want it. Now, again, I'll say it again. I clearly said several times, I don't want a team with 3 losses in there. Alabama was a team with 3 losses. Fine. But when you went to 12 teams, we got to put people in those slots. It's sort of like going to 68 teams in the NCAA tournament. We're going to screw around and have a bunch of 500 teams in there, which is kind of what we do. We have a bunch of middling teams that we hope get hot. And it takes away from the – we're seeing it is taken away from – the regular season where there was a coach today, gosh, who was it, that said, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he said, I don't think you'll see any more undefeated teams in college football. And that makes sense, and that also makes me kind of sad, because that's how we've kind of defined greatness a lot of times through college football. And
well, I think people get premature when they start saying stuff like that.
The word never should never be used.
Yeah.
And I understand the irony of saying that. That was the joke. But some people, some people are pointing at me. I know on the screen. But I'm just going to say this: that Indiana played just a terrible, sloppy schedule. Then they played one team in the regular season. They played Ohio State, and Ohio State slapped them around a pretty good bit. And then they were like, "Well, let's give them a chance." So we did. We sent them to Notre Dame. Notre Dame slapped them around. Mm-hmm. So they had 2 good teams that they played. Both got slapped around. Everybody else was way on down here. And they beat them. But now several of them they had to beat in the last second or, some miracle. I'm just telling you, again, we don't need to be beholden to teams that we kind of think they're good. They might be good. Let's give them a chance. Oh, God, that was awful. Because that Penn State SMU game and that Indiana Notre Dame game were unwatchable.
And yet you watched them.
No, I didn't.
I did.
I watched the beginning of Penn State. Listen, you watched the beginning. If you're going to sit here and tell me you watched that whole Penn State game, I'm going to call you liar, liar, pants on fire, because nobody did. Everybody watched the beginning because it was like, it's the first playoff game. Here we go. Let's watch it. Oh, God, no. I mean, it was like 14-0 before you blinked.
It was not a good game. I've
SMU
watched a lot of
chance.
bad college football games.
I understand because you're an Auburn fan. But
Touche.
SMU had 0 chance in that game. If they played 10 times, SMU ain't winning any of them. Not in that scenario. In the regular season, when it doesn't matter as much, maybe SMU can screw around and beat them. In the playoffs, when everybody's got their mind right now, and that's what we're geared towards, you ain't doing that. You ain't beating them.
I don't think you could say that. You're
I've got a 2-game sample size of 2 bad teams in the playoffs, and they both got
2
hammered.
games, Luke.
Okay,
2 games.
But you've had 2 shots and both of them
in the world
stunk.
of NIL, though, they're getting better and better. These teams. This is the way they get better and better.
Let me tell you this: I don't mind it. I fully expect SMU to get better with their NIL. They got sick amounts of money. This particular year, they weren't. Now, they will get better, and I will certainly respect them as they climb the ladder. Indiana ain't getting any better. We saw the best Indiana's got to offer last year.
As you have said many times, you might play your worst game, you might play your best game. The rest you play that year is who you are. That was their worst game that they played there at the end. Now, did it have a lot to their opponents? Sure it did. But that was not emblematic of how they played all year long.
Because they played a 2A schedule,
The moment was too big for them.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean they're a terrible team. That just means they're inexperienced.
All right,
that means their quarterback failed them on that play. And that's fine. It happens.
And the committee failed us as fans. It would have been a lot more fun. Take Alabama out of the equation. If you had told me, hey, instead of SMU, we don't want to put Alabama in. They got a bad loss to Vandy, bad loss to Oklahoma. I'd be like, okay, I get you. We're putting Ole Miss in because they have good wins. Yeah, they have some inexplicable losses, but they played a much tougher schedule than SMU or Indiana did. And if you had told me I'm going to get to watch Ole Miss Penn State or SMU Penn State, which one do you want, Andy? Just which one do you want, and which one do you think would be competitive?
Last year?
Any year. Ever.
Well, I'm not really wanting to see Ole Miss ever in anything.
Okay, just take off your orange and blue glasses for a second. I'm saying I know Ole Miss SEC, and you're not an SEC guy. I understand that. But I'm saying, which matchup do you think would have been more fun? Come on, Andy. Come on. Don't do that. You got to.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Ole Miss would have been
a lot more fun.
It would have probably been a better matchup. I don't know.
A better matchup.
I'm a guy that I don't mind getting younger, smaller teams an opportunity.
I know. Because it makes no sense. But it's just, again, you're discouraging people from playing good games. That's what you're doing.
No,
and we don't
you're
want that.
Discouraging. You're saying you're playing for nothing, kid, so don't even bother showing up for the year.
Andy, please, hold on a second. First of all, I've already said that I think SMU will get better. And as they climb the ladder, they will get better. But this year, when you looked at them and you said, look, SMU, all you got to do is beat a bad Clemson team. That's all you have to do. And you're in, and nobody can complain. Not one person can complain. Clemson took it from SMU had the lead.
Would it have made a bit of difference in the playoff game if SMU had won the ACC?
No, I don't think so.
So what's the point?
Hang on a second, though. But we all agree. We've all said, okay, we're going to let the champions in. We've all said that, okay? We've all said that, and I can live with that. My problem is they're getting in as an at-large. That's my problem because – it's a joke. They're not even trying to play difficult schedules. They avoided the best teams in a crappy ACC until they got to Clemson in the title game, and they couldn't hold a lead. I mean, they just couldn't do it. They're not good enough yet. They may get there. They got the money. They got the resources. SMU may be one of those teams that's able to get there. I wholeheartely believe that. I don't think Indiana will ever get there. And so if you told me we're going to everybody's breaking away, which, by the way, it looks like everybody's doing that. Greg Sankey's kind of winking a nod, intimating stuff like that. And I don't blame him. Greg Sankey and Kirby Smart both said, hey, we should have had either Bama, Ole Miss, or who was the other team from the SEC that they could have gotten in last year?
South Carolina?
Or South Carolina. They said they should have had one of those in because they're playing difficult schedules. By the way, South Carolina beat that Clemson team that that did beat SMU. So I'm just saying, I understand, and Alabama and Ole Miss and South Carolina all had their flaws, 100%. But I think you also have to step back and go, what if SMU played Alabama's schedule last year? If SMU had played Georgia, what do you think that final would have been? If SMU had played Texas, if SMU had played, Auburn. Auburn would have beaten SMU last year, I believe. It'd been close. Been close.
It would have been close.
LSU. SMU ain't beating LSU. Not any day of the week. And so what I'm saying is everybody wants to have a bleeding heart, and that's great, but let's also use some common sense here. And your point is valid about, well, if SMU had won the title, we get in. And I would hold my breath and say, okay, you won your conference. We said if you win your conference, you get in. I would hold my breath and do it. But it's the at-large part of it that bothers me.
I think you mean hold your nose and
No, I'd hold my breath. I'd hold my breath and hold my nose.
How would it have changed last year? We'll talk about that when we come back. But great start here. If you got any comments on this, got any thoughts, give us a call, 256-234-6221. More to come right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us this evening. We are brought to you each and every Tuesday by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Wonderful place to have lunch or dinner right here in downtown Alexander City. Great food, great people, great atmosphere there at JR's Sports Bar and Grill. We're talking about the college football playoff and the changes that are going to be taking place this year in 2025. Straight seeding. What does that mean? Well, last year, of course, you had the conference champions got an automatic bid, but they also got an automatic bye. So you had Oregon, Georgia, Boise, and Arizona State as your 4 teams with a bye. You had Texas hosting as a 5-12 matchup, hosting Clemson. You had Ohio State, the 8 seed, hosting 9 seed Tennessee. Penn State, the 6 seed, hosting 11 seed SMU. And Notre Dame hosting Indiana, the 10-7 matchup. So how would that have changed this year?
But can I stop you for a second?
Stop me.
Now, looking back, I know Pat Dye said hindsight's 50-50. But looking back, do you see how dumb that was? I mean, it's so dumb, I can't even. First of all, Clemson just beat SMU for the ACC title, and you seed them behind SMU.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
That didn't make a lot of sense.
Okay. Secondly, Boise State, who plays nobody ever in their conference, they get a bye. Yeah. Arizona State, decent team, not bad. And I loved Cam Scatterwood. My son goes to Arizona State. I'm pro Arizona State. They ain't one of the 4 best teams in the country, and they don't deserve a bye any more than the man in the moon. And it's just nuts. It's so dumb.
Now, I thought last year, in hindsight, I remember having a conversation. I remember thinking that I'm okay with rewarding teams for winning their conference. In hindsight, I would say the way they're doing it now, the automatic bid is reward enough.
Agreed.
I'm okay with that, and so it makes, and I'm sure you probably said this last year. I'm sure a lot of people probably said this, but this way does seem like it makes a whole lot more sense.
This way they did last year was dumb, but think about it. Also, think about what they're saying. Okay, if you win your conference, that's the most important thing. We should reward you. The top 4 that win their conference get a bye. And the 5th team that won their conference, you go at number 12. So you go from being number 4 seed, and if you don't make the cutoff, you have a chance to be number 12. It makes no sense now. And how do we didn't see all this? It's kind of dumb. It's so dumb. And then again to have SMU, who just lost to Clemson, ahead of them.
Yeah.
When you could have said, how about this? If you're going to put SMU in, fine, I'll throw up, and that's fine. But you put them in, make them go to Texas. I know it's kind of close or whatever, but that's even a more fun matchup. I mean, and then you say Clemson, Penn State. Oh my God, those are 2 teams that I don't even know if they've ever played. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And it would be a better game. But instead, they sent Clemson to Texas, which just seemed weird. And you sent SMU up to the frozen tundra.
Well, that actually was the best game.
It was the best game. Yeah, it ended up being all of them ended up being, won by the prohibitive favorite. But I'm saying I think Clemson, Penn State would have been an even better game.
Maybe.
And so again, if you're gonna put bad teams in, let's try and match up. Let's do at least some funky creative scheduling here.
So what would it look like last year if you did the straight seeding? Clemson would still be the 12 seed, even though they won the ACC. They would go to the number 5 seed, Notre Dame. Boise would go to Indiana as the 9-8 seed. Arizona State would be the 11 seed. They would go to Ohio State. Arizona State's not liking this very much. SMU would go to Tennessee. Tennessee's much happier about getting SMU at home than having to go to Ohio State. So Oregon and Tennessee are the biggest winners. I would say Arizona State and Boise probably are the biggest losers.
Yeah, and frankly, Boise should have been a loser. I mean, they get a bye, and then they play Penn State, and I mean, it's just so dumb. I don't.
But boy, look, I don't want to always try to. I'm not carrying the water for these schools or anything, but I feel compelled to say that of all these schools, Boise State. I mean, for the lower division, or not lower division, but the lower schools, the lesser schools, they're the ones that has actually, has a history.
They have proven themselves.
They have proven themselves over the years.
Notice I didn't say Boise shouldn't have been in there.
Okay.
I was fine with Boise being in there. I'm not fine with Boise being what were they, the 4 seed or the 3 seed? But Boise.
Yeah.
So what you're effectively saying is Boise's the third best team in the country, and I mean, my God, people. I mean, it's just let's not do this. I mean, why? Why do we feel compelled to just say, all right, little guy, come on, even though we know it's bad for all of us. Mm. It's not.
So you're okay with them being the 9 seed?
I was okay with Boise being. Yeah, if Boise had been the 9. In fact, I would probably have based on last year. I probably might have even had Boise a little higher than that, because it wasn't a great year. Again, I go back to. Let's also all admit there aren't 12 teams that deserve to play for a national championship.
Yeah. But let me ask you this. Okay, so here's the other aspect, and then we got to go to break. 1 seed, the byes, Oregon 1 seed, Georgia 2, Texas 3. So you got Georgia and Texas playing in the SEC title game for what? For to see who's the 2 and who's the 3, or who's the 3 and who's the 2?
Preaching to the choir here. I'm with you. Like, I don't even understand why there is a SEC title game or any conference title game anymore, but I do understand it from the sense of it's a financial boom. Eventually, I think the luster will be worn off of that, and maybe it'll go away, and we'll just go back to 1989, where Tennessee and Alabama and Auburn all tie for the SEC title game. And I mean, SEC championship.
I think we're all right with that. At least I'm all right with that in this era of the playoff. I used to be one that was I'm all about the SEC title game. Loved it. Yep. Think it was the best. I think it's harder to win that than to win a national title.
Yep.
I think it's the biggest deal of all.
Yep.
But now in this era, it's irrelevant.
It's devalued.
It's irrelevant.
And again, I go back to everybody told me this isn't going to devalue any of that stuff. It is 100% devalued.
Sure.
So again, if that's
to be
what we
perfectly
want,
honest, I'm okay with that.
And again,
because I wanted a playoff too.
Yes, I understand you wanted a playoff. We had one that was 4 teams. That was pretty good. But we had to go to 12 teams, and now we've really devalued it because we also saw a Clemson and an SMU team that we know neither one of them is all that good, but at least one of them, it turns out both of them went to the playoffs and proved to us again they're not that good.
A 14 playoff is just a BCS on steroids.
Well, a 12-team playoff is
a 16-team
participation trophy.
Is a real
it's
playoff.
A soccer mom. It's a Karen's son getting a participation trophy, and if she doesn't get it, I'm going to tell you, my son's as good as any son out there.
Why is she getting a participation?
No, her son is, and by God, she's going to make sure. And if you don't think my son's as good as your son, that's what it is. Everybody's the same. They're not the same.
No, they're not. That's why they've got seeding.
But they keep screwing up the seeding.
Well, do we have it figured out now?
I don't think so.
Or next year we're going to look at it and go, why didn't we think of this?
Listen, I know that is what bothers me because there will be something. Murphy's Law states there will be something that will happen here, right? But, I mean, again, in my perfect world, I would have said, hey, we got to expand. Everybody's having a fit, so let's go to 8. Let's just see what 8 does. Let's see what it does. Why do we have to go to 12? And again, let lesser teams in. That's what we did. Even if Alabama had got in, I would say we let teams that really didn't deserve it get in. I have no problem saying that. That wasn't a vintage Alabama team or Ole Miss team. Well, it may have been a vintage Ole Miss team, but it wouldn't have, in South Carolina wouldn't typically be in the discussion, but they were because now we're okay with losing 3 games. Clemson lost 3 games. They got in.
They did win their conference, though.
They won their conference because they played against
they played against the second-best team in their conference.
No, it was supposed to be the best. Everybody told me how good SMU was. Woo! Can't beat SMU unless you're somebody good.
Miami had an opportunity, and Miami had
an opportunity to what?
to get in the ACC title game.
They did. They stunk too. I'm not saying they didn't stink.
Well,
I didn't advocate for Miami getting in. They stunk.
But I mean, most people would say they were better than SMU.
But
we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Only 30 more minutes left in the first hour of tonight's program. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. 256-234-6221. Trev Alberts.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me a better segue than that. What was that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. According to Ross Dellinger, who's a Texas A&M reporter, I believe, he said Texas A&M athletic director.
He was a national guy.
He might be now. I think he did used to write for A&M. Whatever. Texas A&M AD Trev Alberts says the quiet part out loud. The SEC moving to 9 conference games is contingent on the CFP format. Multiple guaranteed CFP spots for the SEC means 9 SEC games in his view. I think we can all get down with that. I mean, again, if you're the SEC and everybody's having a conniption fit that you don't move to 9 games, I think we'd say, whoa, whoa, whoa. We got it tough as it is, and we had 3 viable candidates, and y'all wanted to put in SMU and Indiana. And they play a sack of grits every Saturday. And you want us to play one more tough game? No, thank you. Now, if you want us to do that, give us 4 spots. And I think we can all get down with that.
If you're Greg Sankey, you're doing what's best for the SEC. You don't care.
That's what's best for college football, Andy.
Well, that's not his job, though.
I know, but I'm saying I've heard that all day on a national narrative. Greg Sankey's doing his job. What's best for the SEC? But we need somebody who's best for college football. Well, let me tell you something. You know how much better the playoffs would have been if toss out a very middling Clemson team, put South Carolina in, who beat them, by the way, and then you put Alabama in or Ole Miss instead of SMU, all of a sudden the playoffs look a lot better. They look a lot more fun. Say what you want to. Say what you want to.
The problem is, but that just kind of, if you just want the SEC to have a playoff with themselves, it would be the greatest playoff ever. It would be the most fun. That's absolutely. I don't argue with that a bit, but it ceases to be college football, really. It's just basically the NFL.
Why does it cease to be college football? Andy,
all the other schools are gone.
And for the love of God, have you not liked college football? Because look, SMU and Indiana and Boise State hadn't been a part of national championships in the past that we can remember. We hadn't missed a one iota.
It's just, it's different schools every year.
Okay, throw in any random school that you don't hear much about. And if everybody loved these schools so much, we'd watch them more. They don't get good ratings. People don't watch them. They don't have the fan bases. And so that's what's happening. They have screwed around and cut off their nose to spite their face. They went for the what is that? Oh gosh, Narcissus, who was looking at himself in the mirror, in the reflection in the pool, and he ended up drowning because he was like, "There's somebody even better looking than me. I got to get him." And he gets into that whole fable, right? Well, that's what happened here. Those little schools have no idea how good they had it riding the backs of the foundation of college football. And now we act like if we kick them out, that college football is not the same. Now, college football is going to be even better. It really is. College football is not going to cease to exist. I've heard that now. Look, I've even said that. Like I keep saying, I've lost my passion for it. And I'm sitting up here on the show on Tuesday night in the middle of the offseason. My blood pressure is going through the roof because I'm so passionate about it.
I don't understand why.
Because I love this sport. I do. I love college football. I always have. I feel like I always will. Yes, eventually maybe an NIL deal or a transfer portal, something will make me eventually quit it. But right now, I still love it. And even though I think the way they do the playoffs is dumb, all that stuff, I think it could be even better. And I'm not here to tell you, hey, we need to kick out the Boise State. I'm fine with Boise State being a part of college football. I'm fine with Navy or give me somebody else. Fresno
TCU.
State. TCU's also in the Big 12 now, so it makes it a little different. And I know SMU's in the ACC now, which makes it a little different. But I'm saying Boise State's not. They play in the
Mountain West.
God knows who.
I don't know.
I don't even know what it is.
Aren't they going to the Pac-12?
I don't even know. Is there a Pac-12?
I think they're revamping it.
Okay. That ought to be a powerhouse. But my point is this. If you're saying, hey, college football is not going to be the same without Boise State, I'm like, guys, we've been fine without Boise State through the whole history of college football. Yeah, I watched that same Fiesta Bowl y'all did. And the Statue of Liberty play, and the guy kneels down and proposes to the cheerleader girlfriend right after he scores on the 2-point conversion is awesome. But are you going to tell me that's like we can't do without, like somebody else can't do that? We've had a lot of other memorable plays without them. We've had Vince Young and Devontae Smith, and we've had Mike Dyer not being down and getting up and running. We've had a lot of great games. They didn't involve Boise State.
I'm sure it's been a lot of great games that had nothing to do with the SEC.
No.
I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying. Look, the sport evolves, things change, that's fine. But you can't say, one week you come on here and, we're all, the bowl games were great. I missed that.
I do.
We should have gone back. Well, those were conference matchups
I know.
and all those kind of things. And you hate, that the tradition and all this, and it's a wide variety. You got different schools coming in. I mean, my goodness, Boise. I mean, BYU wins a national championship back in the day. But then you got it's just changing.
I'm not changing lanes. Let me say a couple things.
I'm not saying to you. I'm just saying that the sport is changing so much.
I'm not changing lanes. I have no problem saying I used to love bowl games, but it used to mean something more. Now bowl games just aren't that much fun. They just aren't. I want them to be. I wish they were. I still watch them like a fool.
But it's because nobody cares.
Because nobody cares because people have opted out. And you bring up BYU.
And I mean the players.
I know. You bring up BYU in 1984, and guess what? Saturday Night Live. I remember this vividly. They had a whole bit about here's BYU's schedule. It's like Tomato Can State and, 4 nuns and a blind donkey. I mean, they played nobody. And there was just nobody else to give it to. And they begrudgingly got it. They beat a bad, what the Michigan team they beat in the bowl game was 6-5. They won a national. And that's wrong. And people realized, okay, this is stupid. You can't do that. That's just doesn't make any sense. But we don't learn our lesson, so we got to do it again. We got to go through and say, well, SMU, just plucky little SMU or plucky little Indiana, whatever. Common sense tells you they're not as good. You just watch the games and understand they're not as good. They're not playing the same caliber of competition every week. And by the way, that's the SEC.
The whole point of, one of the big points of football is that, a team could come together, a special team. Those guys are all playing for each other. I mean, that whole thing is real, right?
It is. But
I thought that's why they were all playing.
You can still have it with what I'm saying. Why can't South Carolina be that?
Well, I mean, why couldn't that one team from SMU rise up and be that good? Why couldn't that Boise team rise up and be that good?
Andy, if they had won their conference championship game, I'd be
on board with you. Back to that?
No, I'm saying, but we saw them. They lose.
You just said that team, they're never going to be this good. They can't win these games.
No, I didn't.
And I'm saying if it's 1 in a million, you got to give them that
telling
chance.
Me there's a chance. First of all, SMU. I said SMU eventually. I think can get there because they have enough money. They told the ACC, y'all don't even need to pay us for a while. We got this. I find that to be awesome. I do applaud SMU for that. I don't mean to drag SMU into some of these dregs with others. I'm only doing it for this year because what happened was they lost in the regular season. I think they lost to BYU, but I can't remember. Did they lose to BYU?
Now?
Who did SMU lose to before they lost to Clemson? Was it BYU?
I think it was.
Okay, whoever it was. And then they get to Clemson. That's all they have to do. It's all you got to do is beat a bad Clemson team. By the way, a Clemson team that just lost it, I think it was at home, to South Carolina. That's all you have to do.
We're speaking in generalities. We're not talking about this last year specifically.
But I understand. I'm saying SMU getting in as that large is what bothers me. Again, and here's the other thing. For all the people saying that, I saw a whole thing on Twitter. Some Ohio State fan was like, SEC is ruining it all because they're going to take their ball and go home. First of all, it's the SEC and the Big Ten that are going to do that. And my bet is it's going to be the SEC, Big Ten, and then some combination of Notre Dame's going to be involved somehow. Clemson, Florida State probably involved somehow. My bet is SMU gets involved because they got enough money. Now, maybe an Arizona State or somebody like that can get involved. I don't know. But see, I go back to saying that all these little schools that say we just want a chance, y'all were on the honey wagon. All you had to do was sit back. And now, because you had a hissy fit, the big boys are saying, why do they get the same rights as we do? We're doing all the stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand that. And look, every school, every other sport at every college campus is saying the same thing. And football looks at it and says, why are we paying the bills for all of you? But they do, because that's the way the world works. It ain't fair.
No, it's about to stop, though, because everybody had a fit.
It's not going to stop.
It's going to have to. You're not going to be able to pay the people. You're not going to be able to. The NILs for football and softball are already enormously different.
There will be lawsuits, and they'll settle it. And they'll say, well, okay, so and so, we'll carve out this and this. Things like that don't change.
But, Andy, here's the other thing. Now you've got revenue sharing. So
That's
the
true.
universities aren't going to be swimming in as much money as they were swimming in.
That's
It's
true.
going to be a lot different. You're not going to be able to afford some of these other. Now, again, this is just my theory. It could change, just like, we may see something later that go, oh, well, we didn't realize this was covered, just like with these playoffs. But my point is, I feel like all the folks having a fit to let the little sports get the same amount of attention, or to do this or do that. I mean, I look at it. So I'm trying to make it analogous to the WNBA for a minute, because everybody was talking
something that we all care about.
Well, no, we don't. But the WNBA was like, yeah, we just don't get enough attention. We deserve more attention. Caitlin Clark comes in the league. She's a revolution. She is bananas. And now the WNBA is like, well, we're not just Caitlin Clark. Hey, what if the NBA had taken that same posture with Michael Jordan? Yeah, I know Michael Jordan came in on the heels of Magic and Bird, but Jordan revolutionized the game. I mean, we all loved Magic and Bird. That was a great rivalry. But Jordan was Jordan. Like, those two will tell you Jordan's the best ever. And so what if the NBA had said, well, we got a lot more players than Michael Jordan?
Which
okay,
they did.
They did, and that's great. But if you want to watch the Kings play the Spurs, more power to you. But I want to see the Bulls play, because you know why? They got Michael Jordan. And if you'll just keep your mouth shut and put the fever on all the time and let us get into this, then all of a sudden we may start caring about those other players. What I'm saying is, those people having fits that, oh, we're important too, y'all just sit back, ride our coattails for a minute, and let the natural momentum carry us into some interest. But instead, you're making it a race thing. You're making it we're more than Caitlin Clark thing, and it's dumb. You're hurting yourself. That's what I feel about this college football. If the smaller schools had just said, we don't get as many opportunities, but we also admit we don't play the same schedule y'all do by a long shot. You know what I'm saying?
I think
it's like, to me, it's like letting the Stallions in the NFL playoffs, and they're playing two different sports practically.
Yeah. I think we're way past a break. We may have missed
I don't even care about breaks anymore. I don't even want breaks. That's another thing I want to rant about.
We'll go ahead and take another break, but we'll be back with more on this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Better buildings,
better prices,
better buildings of Columbus.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Thank you so much for being with us. We are brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by Sunshine Heating and Air. For all your heating and cooling needs, give Kevin Keel and his crew a call today. Sunshine Heating and Air.
I think we have a call.
Wow, okay.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. Caller, you with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, how's it going, bud?
I'm doing fine.
Good. What you got on your mind tonight?
Well, I don't like the way the playoffs are.
What about it?
The way they got it and everything, and I think money's ruining college football.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things taking shots at college football for sure. But what don't you like about the playoffs? You be specific.
Well, I played college ball.
Okay.
And the way it's going, I just don't like it. I mean, money's ruined it. I mean, back when I was playing, we worked for our money,
Mm-hmm.
And now all these freebies and everything they getting. Now, I ain't against the players getting money, but I just think it's wrong.
I understand. And look, we've been conditioned to feel that way. And, in a way, I empathize with you because you're 100% on point that if there were no guys like you, there would be no sport today for guys to make a lot of money off of. I totally understand that. It makes a lot of sense. Just like yesterday was Memorial Day, and without a lot of guys who made great sacrifices, there wouldn't be Luke and Andy up here sitting here just rambling about nonsense. So, sometimes you're on the front end of what turns out to be a gold mine later down the road, and you're not involved in it. And again, I feel sorry for guys like you who went through all that. But I'll also say this, that I bet you college football helped make the person you are today, and I bet you it taught you a lot of good life lessons. And
oh yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it did.
So let me ask you a question: Do you not like the playoff in general, or do you not like the way they do the playoff?
Well, they putting teams in that I don't think ought to be in there.
Okay.
Now, I'm an Alabama fan, and Alabama didn't deserve to be in there, but they some in the conference should have been in there. And way it's going, they just gonna put whoever the heck they want to put in there.
Listen, I'm 100% on board with you. If you've been listening to us, you know that's the way I am. I'm the same way. I don't think Alabama deserved to play for a national championship, but I also think they had a couple of other undeserving teams in there. And if you're going to put undeserving teams in, let's put the best of the undeserving in there. If we got to fill the spot.
I agree 100%. And by the way, I played for West Alabama, but it used to be Livingston.
Oh, yeah. I had an uncle that went there.
Who was he?
Well, he was a Petrie from way back when. So
I'm in my 70s.
He should be in his 70s, plus or minus. I don't know all my uncle's ages these days. He might be a little older than that.
He's in the Alex City vortex.
He's in the Alex City age vortex that I talk about all the time. But, hey, buddy, we appreciate your phone call, and thanks for calling in, okay?
Okay. Make sure they get it.
Yeah.
But, again, I think that's what I remember. I was trying to remember. I was like, last year I thought I had a good way of saying this, and I think that's the best way is – I'm totally on board with Alabama or Ole Miss or South Carolina not being national championship worthy. I'm totally on board. But did you think Clemson or SMU or Indiana or Boise State was? I didn't either. And, I mean, if you think they were, then you're just lying to yourself. I mean, I watched Clemson all year long. They weren't good. Now, you say, well, they won their conference. Yeah, but that's all, then that also devalues the conference championship. Again, it goes back to what I said. I hate the conference tournaments in basketball. I enjoy going to them. I don't deny the drama. But if a losing team can win it and get in the tournament, I hate that.
Yeah, look, if you turn college football conference championships into what basketball conference championships are, man, it is.
It'll be bad.
It'll be bad.
Now,
that really can't happen. It already is happening, but it just
it's getting closer and closer.
It's getting closer and closer.
But there are guys like Danny Cannell, noted SEC haters who are like, well, I'm glad they let in SMU and whoever else, Indiana over Ole Miss, Bama, or South Carolina. The SEC gets all the breaks. But do they get all the breaks, or do they make the breaks happen? Because Danny Cannell was so proud yesterday, I think it was, to say, or maybe it was this morning, to say, hey, the SEC, they're over-under for teams getting in the College Softball World Series was 6.5, and they only got 5, ha, ha, ha. And I'm thinking, they have more than half the field in Omaha. And by the way, they had several matchups, Alabama, Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, and Ole Miss, Arkansas, that was SEC on SEC crime.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
5 SEC schools in the top 8 in golf. 5 SEC schools in the top 8 in softball.
6 of the top 7 seeds in baseball.
6 and 7.
And I go back to this. By the way, I wanted to bring that up because Alabama was essentially the 17th seed. Because Ole Miss gets the 16th seed. And my buddy Jimmy Stein, who does Locked On Bama, and I were talking about this. And I'm not a baseball guy, so I'm not really been out of shape about this, but it is interesting. Alabama and Southern Miss played. Alabama won this year. Alabama's record isn't a whole lot worse than Southern Miss's, and they played in the SEC. Alabama's RPI and strength of schedule are clearly better than Southern Miss's, and Alabama now is the first team in SEC history to be in the top 16 of RPI and not get to host because everybody was like, well, if we give this to Alabama, that's just one more SEC team. To me, that's almost SEC's getting hammered for being so awesome.
Yeah. This is true. There is such a thing as SEC fatigue, I guess.
People have SEC fatigue, and my thing is, hey, look, go out and beat them. The Big Ten, they don't have a lot of folks that seem to care about baseball. I never hear about good Big Ten baseball teams. Do you?
Well, Michigan and Ohio State are never in it, it seems.
I mean, it seems like they aren't. Now, they have some pretty good softball teams, especially now with UCLA in there, with Oregon in there, and things like that. And I think Michigan's been good. Michigan's been good occasionally, but they just don't seem to put the emphasis on it. Okay, you don't have to. Nobody's saying you have to, but we're going to do this over here. It's sort of like, there are only like 8 teams that do equestrian or something nutty, like maybe 12 schools that do it. But for a long time, Auburn dominated it. And Auburn's like, well, if we're going to put a team out there, we might as well win it.
We might as well win it, yeah.
And I don't blame them. I mean, just conveniently leave out. Everybody would think, gosh, does every school have equestrian? No, but that's okay. It's still a national championship ring.
Yep.
And so, maybe that's what some of these other schools ought to do. Maybe they focus on other sports and try and find a dominant way to do it that way. I don't know. But regardless, I think he was on to something. And I've also often thought about that, like the old guard. Can you imagine? I mean, what would Leroy Jordan have made playing at Alabama if there was NIL back then?
What would Bo Jackson have made?
What would Bo Jackson have made at Auburn? What would Charles Barkley have made? You know what? I mean, it's crazy. Now, but that being said, just because some people are getting something now doesn't mean or just because you didn't get something before doesn't mean people should get something now. The sport has evolved. It's much more marketable. And the social media and TV and everything else has changed the game. And it is what it is. It'd be nice if there were some kind of, hey, let's throw everybody a bone. But, I mean, how many college football players have there been over time? You can't just say we're writing it'd be like Jerry Seinfeld getting those penny checks from his super fun, terrific hour.
Super happy, terrific hour. Yeah. Look, I think, I wonder, and this is just my perception. I didn't play college athletics, but we have come to a point now where in basketball, I'm not sure guys even go to class anymore. Because you're there for 1 year and you're gone if you're really good, or you go somewhere else to a different school. And it's getting that way in football. So school has almost being divested from the sport. That to me
That's scary.
is bad.
That's scary.
Now, because if there is a very small percentage of those guys that go on to have any kind of great success and make any kind of real life-changing money in the NFL. So if you don't have a college degree, now some of them, like you say, well, I mean, what is, I didn't even, what was the one that they used to do? What was the measure that they all
a basket weaving?
Well,
underwater basket weaving?
Yeah, a real one. They always like a management, some kind of managements or Afro-American studies or something. There was some kind of. There was all these different degrees. That sociology was one that was a favorite.
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice was a favorite.
That was always on CBS. That was what everybody was.
Regardless, I mean, it was as much about the contacts that you made with people in, that were graduates of Auburn, that worked at Alabama Power and that worked at all these pharmaceutical places. And, if you're going from school to school, you don't make those kind of connections. At least I don't think you do. And I'm interested to see, and maybe we look back 20 years from now and, you say, okay, yeah, NIL, a lot of these guys made a lot of money in college, or they made, this much money, but what, did it change their life? Well, they spent it all, and they didn't have this to fall back on. They didn't have a degree to fall back on.
They didn't have
the connection. They didn't have those friends. So.
There was a tweet today, I'll find it during the break, that On3 or CBS, somebody did a study, and if you remain at a school for 4 years versus transferring, you're 5 times more likely to be drafted. That would be what if I were a coach, I'd be like, I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
And again, what would have happened to somebody, like I know Mac Jones hadn't knocked it out of the park in the NFL, but I mean, that year in 2020 at Bama, he was awesome. And he moved up to the number 15 pick? Now, he's still in the NFL, and I think he's at San Francisco now.
Best job in America.
He's got the best job you could ever ask for. Yeah. But if he had just been, moving around, and then he didn't have Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle to throw to, and John Mechie, would he have been drafted as high if he had if he had gotten impatient and been like, well, I can be a starter somewhere else. True, but you may also expose some of your own flaws.
Yeah.
So it can be a double-edged sword.
I know what this sounds like coming from me, but this show must be really wearing on you. You got a lot more gray hair than you used to.
Oh, I do have some serious gray hair. I'm going to tell you, I went to the beach this weekend, and you know how Florida, well, it's not Florida. I always say it's Florida. It's Orange Beach, but it feels like Florida, right? And you go down there, and you have no water pressure, by the way, which just is, speaking of Seinfeld.
The water's really doesn't taste very good.
No, and the water tastes funny, and in every bathroom, and in this case, it's my wife's family. They have a condo down there, and it seems like all the lights in the Orange Beach bathrooms are much brighter than anywhere else. I don't know why, and it's like their electricity is different. But I remember I was like getting ready. We were about to go out to eat, and I looked up like from brushing my teeth, and I was like, I got a lot of gray hairs now. I mean, I'm kind of down with it.
When we started this show, it wasn't like that.
No, like tonight.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of down with it, but I did start thinking like, what if I get totally gray like Andy?
Like Andy.
But you see, you've got a cool thing going on too. You got the, it's real dark in the back and it sort of transitions. Like I've just got sprinkled,
that's the
gray hairs.
That's the definition of salt and pepper.
I've got a salt and pepper haircut. I mean,
all right, we got to take a break, but never fear, we'll be back with hour number 2 of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hello, this is Little Mo right here with you from DLR Us Auto Sales. At DLR Us, we have multiple sedans and SUVs. Come see us at 33445 U.S. Highway 280, Childersburg, Alabama, 35044. Call us at 256-267-3257. Let's make a deal, people. Our down payment is based on $500 down with the approval of credit. We make it happen. We work with you. We got the choice for you, and we make the right deal.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to hour number 2 of Sports Blitz Live. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you, taking you up to 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us tonight. 256-234-6221 is our number here. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. If you're in favor of the playoff, if you don't like the playoff. It seems like we've all had that conclusion or that thought at least once over the last several years. Money is ruining the sport. I think that's probably accurate. Okay, we talked a little bit about the NCAA baseball bracket. Alabama going to Hattiesburg. That one on Friday at 2 o'clock on ESPN2. How about an old-fashioned matchup? Alabama and Miami. The Hurricanes.
I like
34-21. That'll be interesting. Southern Miss is the 16 overall seed. So if Alabama, which, I mean, like you said, Alabama, no reason to think they can't upset Southern Miss here. If you do, you could, maybe you project it out. Vanderbilt, number 1 overall seed. That's where you'd go.
And you know what?
Super.
Again, I'm okay with that. I feel like that's probably where it should be if Alabama were to win. And the other thing I'd argue, ironically, Alabama gave up like a 5 or 6 run lead to Vanderbilt in the last game of their series, where Alabama would have won that series. Vanderbilt would have obviously lost that series, and who knows, how much change there would have been. But it feels like Vandy used that game where they came back very late and won that game, and that propelled them to like go on this massive winning streak and to win the SEC tournament. And it's just funny how one game, a little bit late in the season, but that one game probably changed a lot of trajectory for some teams. But I think Vanderbilt, I think all the teams, like any team 1 through 7 or 8, could have been a number 1 seed.
Oh,
honestly.
yeah.
There were a lot in there. LSU losing in the SEC title game or in the SEC tournament.
The only reason Vandy's number one is because they won the tournament.
And A&M, boy, they could have if they could have beaten LSU. I think LSU seed probably remains the same, and A&M probably gets in.
Yeah.
But as it stands, I think A&M, South Carolina, and Missouri are the only teams that didn't get in.
Shocking. Auburn will host. They will play Friday at 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Unfortunately, I refuse to pay for ESPN, so I will be listening. I will listen to that game.
You can buy it.
You can buy it?
You can buy it, and then you can write it off on your taxes because you use it literally for work.
I still won't do it, but that's a good thought. Cheat the government out of it.
It's not really. I mean, you're using it for work.
I am using it for work. That's true. Okay, Central Connecticut State is who Auburn will play. Stetson, the Hatters, and NC State are the other two there in there. As you mentioned, Vanderbilt, the number one seed, they're hosting. Let's see, Mississippi State is at Florida State in Tallahassee. Let's see, Chapel Hill. You got Oklahoma. They're going to North Carolina.
It's going to be tough. That's tough. North Carolina's pretty strong.
They are. They are pretty established. Florida, after starting out horrendous, I think they were. My goodness, were they 1-10?
Yeah,
I mean it was something ridiculous. They were awful. They have fought their way back to a 38-20 record. Headed to Coastal Carolina. That could be interesting because Auburn could be hosting Florida if they were to win that one.
Yeah.
If they both win their regional here. Otherwise, Coastal Carolina, which is 48-11, they're a good ball team. They're the favorites, no doubt. But
by the way, Florida basketball, Alex Condon's coming back.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, they're going to be strong again.
Yeah,
He's
usually
good.
are.
He's good.
Yes, he is. Texas hosting in Austin. Ole Miss hosting. They got Georgia Tech in that one, and Western Kentucky. Both of those, 46-12 and 40-17, all good teams. Georgia hosting. Oklahoma State and Duke and Binghamton in that one. LSU hosting, of course. They got Dallas Baptist in that one, 40-16.
They're good. Dallas Baptist is
always a perennial good baseball team.
Sneaky good.
Clemson hosting Kentucky's in that one. And Tennessee's hosting the 14 seed, and Arkansas the 3 seed hosting. There again, Creighton 41-14, Kansas 43-15. Both good teams in that one.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and take another break. When we come back, anonymous SEC coaches have spoken. Ooh. Every year we read these. I don't know. I get a kick out of them.
How do we know they even exist?
Well,
they could make them up.
They could make them up. Some of them are so dumb they couldn't be made up. But we got to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At Central Alabama Community College, We provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Corey's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings. Come on, get on board. Corey's Furniture saves you more. We try harder in every way, so drive a little and save today. Corey's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
It's a great day for a new Chevrolet from Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take to the road in a rugged new Colorado. The midsize Chevy truck as low as $429 a month. Or plug into the future with the innovative Chevy Equinox EV. Lease yours today for just $199 a month. That is correct. Just $199 a month. People are coming from all over the USA to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Only about 45 more minutes left in tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. All right, some anonymous SEC football coaches. Athlon Sports does this every year. They ask coaches around. They claim these are from SEC. I don't know if these are from specifically head coaches, but SEC coaches nonetheless on staff about other programs. So this is what they had to say about Alabama, Luke. I'm sure you have read these. Have you?
Sort of, kind of.
Skimmed them. Okay.
Because, I mean, again, I understand why they have to be anonymous, but it does take the edge off of it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, okay. The fun is to say who said it.
Yeah.
All right, quote, "The expectations define this place. I think you'll see a competitive program that could end up in Atlanta and make the playoff. But this is a new era. Bama's not a surefire lock every season." Well, duh.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy's
way to go out on a limb.
Going out on wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't hurt my feelings.
I mean, he's like, let me play Alabama a compliment, but let me hedge my bets.
Well, it's like, I'm going to be anonymous and have a safe quote.
Yeah, really.
I mean, if you're going to give us coach speak, then just tell us who you are.
This was clear.
Why would anybody take that offensively?
This was clearly Hugh Freeze who said this. All right, let's see. No, big quote. "The good news for them is that you didn't see a lot of key pieces test their market value in the portal. I think Alabama got very serious about NIL and personnel very quickly."
I mean, first of all, I can tell you what I know about Alabama's NIL. Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody else. They've had to up their game, but everybody's up their game. Alabama's not overspending. That's not what they do. They've lost some guys because they won't meet various bids because they don't want to get in that posture. That goes for basketball. That goes for football. Yeah, they're paying people just like everybody else, but there's also a consideration of, hey, you got to get a bit of a Bama discount. Number one, because they have the philosophy, this is my understanding, that if you ever overpay for one player, you'll be overpaying for everybody. And that's not a bad philosophy.
How do you know if you overpay?
Well, you kind of know what the market is.
Okay.
Let's see.
But I mean, do you base that on?
Well, let's say
years,
there's player
2
X.
years after they've.
Well,
say,
I mean, yeah, you won't know it till afterwards, but you don't. That's part of the guessing game. And I mean, there, for instance, I'll throw out the PJ Haggerty. He just signed with Kansas State. Now he was asking for $4 million, and he ended only getting up a little over $2 million apparently. But
only
I know. But I'm saying I think there are even some people out there be like, I'm not paying him $2 million. I mean, that sort of blows our budget.
Yeah.
And Kansas State may be looking at it like, we don't have we got a pretty decent team, but we got no stars, nobody that can.
Who is Haggerty?
PJ Haggerty played for Memphis last year, and he was
yeah,
most people considered him the best player or second best player in the portal behind that Lindenborg guy that ended up going to Michigan and pulled out of the draft. He's going to Michigan from UAB. Okay. And so Haggerty even looked at Auburn for a second.
Right.
And I think Auburn had the same thing, like, we ain't paying you that much. Now, it may have come down to Auburn and Kansas State, and my guess, this is no insider info, this is a guess. My guess is Auburn like, yeah, we'll pay you, I'm throwing out a number, 1.5.
Yeah, what we'd pay.
To Todd Pettiford or whatever.
Yeah.
And Kansas State probably said, well, we want you a little more. You know, we'll pay you a little more. And so I totally respect Auburn saying, I'm not matching that. That's what I mean, like overpay. Now, it may turn out this guy may be an All-American, and he may lead Kansas State to a national championship, and all of a sudden, if you're Auburn or you're Alabama or anybody else that missed out on him, you're like, man, I should have paid him that money. But then the next year, what's going to happen? Somebody's going to hold out on your team and say, well, you gave P.J. Haggerty that much. You know what I can do.
Yeah.
You become a prisoner to the system. So I think Alabama didn't just get serious about NIL. They've understood that you got to be in the NIL game if you want to be worth it.
He just thinks they got serious.
I just thinks they got serious. No, that's not true.
Again,
that's also very
who
coach
said
speak. I think it's a coach that's probably a little out of touch with things Alabama. That probably just looks at it from the surface, of maybe a Sam Pittman.
Okay. Yeah, I could say that.
That doesn't have to play Alabama this year.
Right. That was a Mark Stoops. All right, Ryan Grubb coming over will make the offense better. Nick Sheridan's going to focus on development. He helped find and develop Penix at Indiana.
That may be Kalen DeBoer. That sounds like something he'd say.
Yeah.
Ryan Grove coming in is going to make us better. Hey, we're going to move Nick Sheridan and develop quarterbacks. You know, he helped a lot with Michael Penix. Turned out okay. That sounds See,
so
that's what I'm saying.
Sheridan, who was he?
Nick Sheridan was the OC last year.
Okay.
And he's, essentially been demoted, but
now he's going to work on development.
You know, it's a lot like when Darryl Strawberry got on.
We're going to free him up. It's time to focus on developing.
Well, it's like when Darryl Strawberry got on Montgomery Burns' team in The Simpsons, and and Darryl Strawberry goes up to Homer, and Homer says, "Will you play center field?" He goes, "Yeah." Well, he said, "Well, I'll play center field." And Homer said, "Are you better than me?" And Darryl Strawberry said, "I've never met you, but yes."
Yeah.
And that's what it's like. You're like, Ryan Grubb's coming in? Yeah, you're not gonna be OC anymore. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry, Ryan Grubb's one of the best OCs in the country, and you're not bad, but you can help development over here and still get paid a lot of money.
The biggest question will be quarterback, obviously. But they have a really solid offensive line. And the roster doesn't have any obvious holes to fill. They're going to compete for a playoff spot for sure.
These are the most boring, anonymous quotes I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're anonymous, and they've done this for years, so it's not like the coaches should be like, hey, can I really trust you're going to keep this anonymous? You say something like, man, Alabama's quarterback situation is a disaster.
Yeah.
Or they've got a punter who came in from the Colorado School of Mines, which is true. I mean, they may say something like that.
Or diggers.
Yeah. And instead, they say stuff that, like, anybody would say on a press conference on TV. That is nothing in there was interesting.
Not a bit. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back and we'll look at some anonymous quotes for the Auburn Tigers.
I hope they're a little better.
And not much. We'll talk about those right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business. With family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard, Montgomery, or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Only about 30 more minutes left in tonight's show, looking at some anonymous SEC football coaches talking about spreading rumors about other schools. This comes from Athlon. Quote, watch out. Here, they finally have a quarterback who can run Hugh Freeze's system. And they've done some really impressive work in the portal. They're not an elite team by any stretch, but this is the most complete roster Freeze has put together since he got there.
Number one, again, that's pretty much what anybody would say.
Of course, it's the best roster he's put together since he got there.
It's that
wouldn't take a whole lot, but yeah, okay.
Secondly, how do we know? I mean, I guess I applaud the guy for at least believing in Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
But how do you know he can run the system?
I don't. I mean, he ran a similar one in high school, I guess. I don't know.
I mean.
Well, if you think that's okay, quote number 2.
Looking forward to it.
They finally have a quarterback, honestly. Arnold is not a world beater, but You can rattle him, but he's a day one upgrade. And the receiving room is really deep. The Georgia Tech kid, Eric Singleton, is a legit baller and a big get.
Again, nothing super
A lot
fancy.
of belief in Jackson Arnold.
Well, again, he's hedging his bets. Elite, but not a world beater. And by the way,
you know who said that?
What?
Venables.
Yeah. Here's what I want. You can rattle him. Venables like you can dang sure rattle him. But I'm going to say this, that I can hear tonight on Sports Blitz. Can we retire?
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Oh,
We're retiring the word world beater or term world beater. It is so overused, so hyperbole, and it's like.
Do you really want to beat the world?
I know. And is there anybody who could? I mean,
Michael Jordan.
Putin's trying.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
Hitler gave it a go.
Yeah, he gave it the old college try, I guess. But he's not really saying anything again. He's saying finally got a quarterback, not a world beater.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, when
Big time
when you
upgrade.
say finally got a quarterback, you're implying that this guy's
well, think
really
about
good.
what they're implying. Big time look, big time upgrade. Now, he's not very good, but a big time upgrade.
Yeah, this is really more insulting to Peyton Thorne than it is complimentary of
So I can
Jackson
see why
Arnold.
this would be anonymous, because this is a shot across the
Maybe
bow.
Peyton or Thorne said it.
He may have. Oh, that's right. That was Peyton Thorne's dad. All right, quote, this offense is going to be better, and that's going to help the defense. Wow. Startling stuff. DJ Durkin has done a really good job with these guys, and it's what kept them in a lot of their games last year. I mean, that is just absolutely
groundbreaking.
Really.
It's world beating.
Stunning
Said I'm retired, I used it
commentary there. Finally, I think this is a turnaround year for these guys. They're definitely bowling. So everybody got bent out of shape about you Freeze saying, we got to go to a bowl game. Here's another SEC coach saying,
yeah, but
he's just talking about bowling.
It's one thing when an anonymous SEC coach says it. It's another thing when your head coach is like, we need to go to a bowl this year. That's not exactly instilling a lot of confidence. I get that difference.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I have no problem with what Hugh Freeze said. It was rather innocuous. But I also get that, like, if Kalen DeBoer had said, I'd be like, what do you mean go bowling? You should be in the dead-gum playoffs. Why aren't you coaching right now?
4 straight losing seasons, you feel different.
Yeah, but 2 of those, or excuse me, 3 of those, I think they went to bowl games, right? Or only 2 of them?
2 of them.
Okay.
Well, yeah, 2 of them, I think, because we chose not to go to one.
Okay.
Any other team you'd like to hear from?
I mean,
give me a team. I'll tell you a quote.
Let's see, what team? How about Florida?
Okay, the Florida Gators. Massive year for Billy Napier. He survived because of the changing politics of the game and his buyout. But it ended up working out last season. Now he can show positive momentum with this group and start competing for the postseason.
Again, the bar is set so low.
The politics of the game,
I guess
is why they.
I don't understand where he's going there unless he's
either.
talking about. Unless he's trying by politics, he's meaning like transfer portal somehow, some way. Because other politics, what other politics would there be?
I
Maybe
really don't
keeping him helps keep DJ Lagway. But also, I mean, Florida got pretty good towards the end of the year.
That sounds like Lane Kiffin.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
It makes no sense, and it's just nutty. Yeah.
All right, defensively they're young, but they finally got some guys in there that look elite. That's just a nice observation.
I mean, again, these
nothing
aren't
controversial.
These
about
aren't
that.
quotes that grab your attention. These are things that anybody could say.
Yeah. Oh, you want to?
What's the best quote that really jumped off the page? He was like, oh, I kind of learned something here. Or, oh, wow, that is a shocking prediction.
I don't know, but I'll give you the exact opposite of that. If DJ Lagway continues to develop and stays healthy, they're going to improve.
God almighty. That is from the Coach Speak handbook.
I mean, that's terrible. How about Lagway could compete with Arch Manning for best QB in the league?
Okay. That's saying something.
That's going out there.
Now, I'll also say this. Why do you have to say that anonymously?
Well, it's going to be anonymous. Whatever.
I know, but I mean, I'll throw in there something like, have y'all seen their left guard?
Yeah.
That guy couldn't play dead in a cowboy movie.
Hey.
Something like that. That's if you're going to allow me to quote anonymously, I'm going to be able to say a lot of stuff. I'm going to be open. This is all coach speak. Quit asking coaches. There you go. Ask anonymous fans.
Now, they'll tell you something. How about Georgia? Okay. All eyes are on the offense. They have questions at pretty much every position group here. Is Gunnar Stockton a legit QB1? Can they replace the offensive line? Can the receiving core improve? Do they have a guy behind Nate Frazier in the backfield? How many questions can I ask? No. Last season, they looked sort of muddled. They didn't even know what that means, really.
Well, they looked like they were stuck in the mud is what I think he means.
Not bad, but you got the idea they weren't confident in one particular area of their attack.
Yeah, the wide receiver.
What does that got to do with this year, though?
Well, but they did go get Zachariah Branch, and they did get one other receiver whose name escapes me that's pretty good. I love Zachariah Branch coming over from USC. I think he's just incredibly dynamic. He's got a Jalen Waddle vibe about him. When he got in the portal, I knew he was going to probably be too expensive for the way, again, Alabama does. But I was thinking, just please don't go to somebody like Georgia. Well, of course, Georgia gets him, so.
I don't think this is the same level of talent we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. I think you might see a decline, at least at first, on both lines of scrimmage.
Okay. Now
there we go.
We're getting somewhere. I can get behind that.
Okay. Who said it?
Oof. You know what? That's a Lane Kiffin.
Hey,
that's honest. That's putting it out there. I mean, somebody like –
that was Billy Napier with his fingers crossed going, God, I hope so.
Well, no, I don't think Billy Napier would have the stones to say that right now, even anonymously.
That's probably.
I think Lane Kiffin would have the stones, or either the just I don't really care.
Oh, who's the guy at Tennessee? What's his name?
Josh Heupel.
I think that might be Heupel.
Well,
I could see that.
Boy, that would be Heupel would be poking the bear a little bit because Georgia's owned Tennessee for a while. I know, but they know we're trying to guess who this was.
How about LSU here? I'll tell you what, we'll take a break and we'll come back. Well, let's take one break. We'll come back. We may read a couple of more of these before we call it a night. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
This spring and summer, make your land, farming, lawn, and landscaping needs have zero risk and 100% success. with Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, with 0% financing on all our Mahindra tractors, many with up to 84-month terms. Our inventory of Mahindra tractors and farm implements is beefed up, and more are coming in daily. We also have extended 0% terms on Spartan mowers to handle your mowing needs, with the best in zero-turn mowers priced to move. At Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, your authorized Mahindra and Spartan dealer.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at dunningroofingal.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Just a couple more segments left in tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. All right. More anonymous SEC coaches. How about, what did we say, LSU?
Yeah. This could be interesting.
Okay. Let's see. Nuss is a legitimate talent.
Oh, God.
And they did a really good job finally getting serious weapons in the portal to put around him.
I agree. Nick Anderson and Barry Brown, two wide receivers coming in, they're dudes.
The big talk here is the way they've restructured. This isn't an autonomous coaching culture anymore. Austin Thomas has a huge role building the roster, and it showed this offseason. The internal evaluation of LSU football will look more professional instead of the amateur hour that it was last year.
Wow.
No, he didn't say that. They're going to build BK, Brian Kelly, the best roster possible to go out and win games.
Well, here's your shot. You get to go to Clemson first game at night. Going to be huge. Big game. Monster game. We got Texas, Ohio State, which I don't think it's been announced, but that'll be the big noon kickoff at 11. Then you're going to have Bama, Florida State at 2:30, and then you're going to have this on Saturday, and that's good watching.
Yeah.
And it's LSU gets to go and see if they can make something happen there. But LSU
they've had a chance the last 2 years, and
LSU also has to go to Ole Miss. LSU also has to play a much improved Florida team. LSU also has to go to Bama. LSU's got to. I mean, it ain't easy. They got to go to Oklahoma. They routed Oklahoma last year, I think, at LSU, but they got to go to Oklahoma this year. Texas A&M, I'm not sure where they played them. They played them at LSU. I think this, and they've got South Carolina at home. So they play a lot of the best quarterbacks in the league. They'll play Lenore Sellers, and they'll play DJ Lagway. Whoever Ole Miss throws out there will probably be pretty good, right?
That Simmons kid, he looked good in
Austin
short.
Simmons, yeah.
Yeah, and in a very small sample size.
But now Garrett Nussmeier is the best quarterback in the league, I believe.
Well, we'll see about that.
We'll see about that. Lenore Sellers, really good. And then they got to play who's the quarterback at Clemson who starts with a C, whose name escapes me right now?
Quarterback at Clemson.
Klubnik?
Starts with a K,
Klubnik?
I believe.
Yeah, well, I was thinking Cade Klubnik. And he's, a lot of people think he's a dark horse Heisman guy. It's going to be one heck of a game to start off with. I'm going to the Bama-Florida State game, and I'm assuming we're going to be driving back we're going to be staying in like near Destin. So soon we'll be driving back after that game. Probably have to listen to Clemson and LSU, but I'm going to be doing that. Looking forward to it.
All right. How about Oklahoma? And we'll wrap this up here. It's a hot seat situation for sure. Hot seat. They're banking on an instant impact from Arbuckle and Mateer, the way Vanderbilt brought in the New Mexico State coach QB combo. That could happen. Their receivers were non-existent last year, but a lot of that was injury. They should bounce back and give Mateer some options.
Yeah.
Not really much.
I mean, but they lost their best receiver in Nick Anderson. I think Oklahoma's going to be all right.
I kind of like this one. Normally, it's not a great idea when a head coach goes back to play calling. But, hey, Venables was one of the best in the nation when he was at Clemson. He wants to have more control over what he knows.
Let me ask this.
In other words, he says, it's probably not going to work out.
I kind of like, again, it would have been better if he just said, y'all, this is a train wreck.
Yeah.
I would have respected it more, even anonymously.
Yeah.
But if Oklahoma were to can Venables, because they have a game, I think their non-con is at Nebraska. They have to play Texas again, and this year I think they play Texas in Austin because they're doing some work at the Cotton Bowl or something. I don't know. I got to look that up. But they got to go to Bama. They've got to play LSU at home. They've got to play
Auburn.
Else? They've got to play Auburn at home. Who else they have? They have South Carolina on the road. They've got Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just really shines a light on how much easier Texas got it in Oklahoma. But, man, I don't – who would you go after if you're Oklahoma? Who's like the coach you would target?
Oh, boy. I don't even know. I mean, I'd have to wait and kind of –
I mean, my first call, I guess, would be
Rhett Lashley would probably be a name.
Rhett Lashley,
interesting.
But I think Kenny Dillingham.
Kenny Dillingham would be a name I would be entertained for sure.
But my first call might be to Kiffin. Just say, you're at Ole Miss, you're hitting a wall.
Yeah.
You come to Oklahoma, and here's what I think. I think Oklahoma's schedule, it's going to have to flip somehow. Like, I know the schedule's going to get messed up and screwed with, and it may be a 9-game schedule and a lot of different things, but you got to think, all right, Texas got the much easier slate the first 2 years. Oklahoma should get an easier slate after that. I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying common sense says it should happen.
It should, you would think.
And so you say, hey, Oklahoma can win a national championship. Can you win one at Ole Miss? Come over here and, come to Norman. And, we've got young co-eds too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe it come down to whether these kids want to move or not. They seem to like it in Oxford.
They do.
His wife, he's back together, so maybe he doesn't want to rock.
They are. They got remarried, and he's sober.
That tends to help in those kind of things.
Look, I am not anti-drinking. I'm fine with it. But, this whole thing, I mean, I see people my age. They just get bananas with that stuff. And I'm like, how do y'all – I don't understand how y'all function.
It's not good. It's not good. All right, we got to take a break, but we'll be back with one final segment of the Sports Blitz Live program right after this.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Illinois Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillaby Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillaby Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Better buildings,
Better prices.
better buildings of Columbus.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. '25 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Just a few more minutes left in tonight's show. Louis Gossett Jr., Oscar winner. Happy birthday today. Dead or alive?
Got to be dead.
Died in 2024. Died last year.
Oh, well, I mean, that counts. I mean, he's
It
still
does
dead.
count. Yes, that is true.
You can give me credit for the ones I
I'm just
get.
saying, you just now, you hit it by a margin.
God, how old was he?
He was born in 1936. So, yeah, he was 80 something.
You know, if I make it
80, yeah, I guess he was right on.
It
the
is going to be
nose.
weird. Like if I make it to my 90s, and it's 2062,
he would have never made it.
and like people are like, God, he was born in 1970. You know, 1970.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's crazy.
1972.
All right, Officer and a Gentleman, obviously Oscar winner.
That's going to be number one.
Yeah, he was in some great Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle, yeah,
that was
pretty good.
Yeah, I love Chappie.
Chappie.
You don't know Chappie? No. That was his character.
Oh, Chappie. Oh, I thought that was the movie. I thought it was a new movie. I was like,
no.
He was, okay, yeah.
He was Lieutenant
I got you.
Chappie.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay, I got you now.
Jaws 3, classic.
No, completely unclassic. Terrible.
It is so bad, it's good.
So bad for several reasons, and it, not the least of which, it led to Jaws 4 when the shark followed a family to New York, from New York to the Bahamas, and it didn't even have their itinerary or nothing. I don't know how it did it.
Some really good GPS. I don't know, but
sharks do.
But you know, there was actually, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but this is legitimate now. When they first made the movie, there was actually like a little subplot in the beginning where there was some kind of voodoo in the Caribbean that would have actually made at least some sort of sense about why the shark actually followed her to the Bahamas, because there was some sort of curse that was put out there.
It was her and Michael Caine, right? Yeah, Michael Caine was on the boat.
Michael Caine was
rapping
but
to
he was
Mario
in,
Van Peebles. He was in
that
rapping.
Is true. Have you ever seen Firewalker with Louis Gossett Jr. and Chuck Norris?
Yeah,
very
that's good. That's good.
I actually really like that one. Enemy Mine, him and Dennis Quaid. Another actually very good 80s.
He was in some bunch of
late
action
80s movie. Toy Soldiers. You ever seen that with Sean Astin?
I have seen it. It's about a
He's the
military school,
headmaster.
right? Yeah.
Very good, actually. A terrorist comes in, takes over the school, and the kids, you know, kind of outsmart him, outwit him. He was in, of course, the original.
What a bad idea.
Yeah.
Terrorists take over a military institution. I mean,
I don't necessarily think it was a military school.
Like a military school.
But I think it was like a school for, like, you know, challenged
wayward
kids.
children.
How about the Roots?
The TV.
The TV movie, Roots.
God, I'm going to tell you something, man.
Hey, I think he won like a.
Do you remember
Emmy
watching
for
that?
I remember seeing some of it.
I remember when they caught one of the runaways.
Now that was
and they,
Kunta Kinte, right?
Yeah, and they cut his the front part of his foot off, and I remember being a child going like, I'm used to watching like Three's Company and the Jeffersons, and this is on, and I don't know what to think anymore.
Yeah, that's Kunta Kinte, man. He went on to go to space. He was Geordie LaForge.
Oh, okay. God.
Digstown.
Yeah,
He was a boxer, James Woods.
Yeah.
He was a con man.
Yeah.
Very
okay,
good.
It's pretty good.
That's not bad.
There's a lot of movies, man.
There's good movies. All right, Don Williams, the great Don Williams, had a bunch of #1 hits.
Like?
I wouldn't want to live if you didn't love me. 1974.
What a long title.
I know it was. Some of it was in parentheses. You know it's a long title. You're My Best Friend, 1975. Turn Out the Lights and Love Me Tonight.
Turn Out the Lights, the party's over? He sang that? Okay.
No.
This is something different?
Different song. And Love Me Tonight, 1975. Till the Rivers Run Dry, 1975.
He sounds
Say
like
it again.
He sounds like a very early Randy Travis.
Say it again. I could see that. He's a mellow kind of guy. 1976. Some Broken Hearts Never Mend. Luke.
I mean, again, these titles sound like they were said by anonymous SEC coaches.
I'm Just a Country Boy, 1977.
Fair.
Tulsa Time. You've heard that one, I know.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Living on Tulsa
really.
Time. 1978. It Must Be Love. Love Me Over Again. He sings a lot about love. I Believe in You. That was another one of his most 1980. Lord, I Hope This Day Is Good. Who does it? Who does it really?
That's just something you're saying right now.
If Hollywood don't need you, honey, I still do.
Oh, God. I like the line. How in the world you made a song out of that line, I'll never know.
Love is on a roll. Stay young. That's the thing about love, and Heartbeat in the Darkness. Heartbeat.
I think Heartbeat in the Darkness was a Louis Gossett Jr. movie, too.
1986. Yeah, it would have been a great.
I can't even
Louis
rank
Scott.
these stinkers.
These are all great songs. Don Williams, very underrated. Great.
Brother, listen to Don Knotts.
You're such a hater. That's going to wrap it up for us.
Don Williams is the Boise State of country singer.
Oh, my goodness. He's more like the that's a good. He's more like the Ole Miss, I would think.
Yeah, like just can't get over the top.
Everybody really likes him,
but you can't.
But you
can't
just
get over the hump, man.
You just cannot get over the hump. He's not up there with the Whalens and the Willies.
Yeah.
And that. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. Be sure to join us next time, next Tuesday. He's Luke. I'm Andy. So on for now. We'll talk again soon.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Summertime is a special time. Time on the water, time away from work, and more time with family and friends. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.